Welcome back to Where the Gentry Walk. Hope you're well. It's our first record of 2026, and who wanted to be in the FA Cup anyway? Focus on the league is where it's going to be at. Ryan Logan have his little moment. Hope you well. Hope you had a good break. We are now just 20 games away, 4 months away from North End potentially ending up in that playoff final. What a 4 months it's going to be. We've got Harvey, Joey, and Etienne going to be with us every single week to look back on these games. Hope you've all had a good rest. Harvey, you well?
Yeah, I'm not bad, you?
Yeah, we're all right. Etienne, you looking forward to the next 4 months or with a nervous trepidation?
I'm definitely looking forward to it. The last couple of weeks have been, barring the Wigan result, brilliant football, so really can't wait for it.
Yeah. And Joey, excited?
Yeah, I'm just excited to be at the right end of the table rather than the wrong end like last season. So
this is it, isn't it? Let's start there, because actually, if you think about it, what are we now? We're only 2 wins and a couple of draws away from the 50-point mark, which is what we were looking for last season, wasn't it? This is fantastic. Here we are then, Harvey, 43 points. Can we talk about just 3 points away from automatics or not?
I wouldn't go there just yet. Obviously, I think the next few weeks running, there's a lot of really tough fixtures in there. Obviously, with the January transfer window as well. Obviously, teams in and around that position are gonna be strengthening. So it's gonna be really tough. And I think this is. I know I said that December would stay where we're going to be, but I think that the next few weeks will probably really define where we end at the end of the season.
Yeah, I mean, there's been some big results in there over the Christmas since we last saw you, and Etienne, no bigger than the Bristol City one. I'd have thought as well. I didn't see that one coming personally.
Neither did I really. I was quite taken aback about how professional the performance was and how well we seemed to, even though Bristol City had a lot of the ball and were threatening to do things, we took all of our chances. We really showed that we can come up against sides that last season we would have never expected to beat. And even going into this year, we would have been like, Bristol City away, we're probably going to go lose 3 or 4-0. And we've gone there, we've put in such a professional performance. The players were top form that day. And yes, even though we did lose in the FA Cup, which personally I'm not too bothered about, we're now looking at teams like Derby, Hull, Middlesbrough, these next 3 fixtures where we can go in with a lot more confidence and say, we might actually get a result and keep at this side of the table.
Yeah. On the flip of that, Joey, what happened at Wrexham?
Yeah, that wasn't particularly that great, but I mean, I will add the caveat that they've now won 4 in a row, so they're on a good streak themselves. I just don't think we particularly turned up, but then at the same time, I think maybe the players as well, but the fans in particular were a bit disappointed when they didn't see Militon Osmaic on the team sheet when obviously it was his game that he was going to come back. It was all sort of built up for that. And we were also hoping maybe Dobbin would be back as well. Neither were back. And I think we were just a bit lacking going forward. And we sort of, I think, tried to, play more of a defensive game against Wrexham. And we all know that that's not the right way to play against Wrexham because I've got actually an abundance of talent in the final third. And I think when you look how poor their defence is, we really should have, I think, took advantage of it at the home game. I think we had about 1 million chances. Their keeper pulled off so many saves. It was a bit disappointing then not to do that in the away game. But then, like I say, we didn't have the Dobbin or Osmaic that we would have liked to have, I think, for that one.
Okay. Let's just quickly talk about Wigan then, shall we, Harvey? This social media tweet from John said, did we actually throw that game? Quarter-final last season, huge distraction and almost cost us, but letting Ryan Lowe celebrate and taking the piss out of us like our own pitch at full time was not so good. And of course, we've since learned that you would have been off to the Emirates had you put Wigan to the sword. Does that slightly anger you, both those things?
The Ryan Lowe one, not so much. I think given the reception he had, I think if he won, he was always going to do that. I think he said it in his interview that I watched after the game that it's just part and parcel of football. Fans give it and he wanted to give it back as well. And I think he's more than entitled to do that. I think Wigan were the better side on the night, and I think that they just deserved it. It does sting a little bit knowing that we could have gone away to a big side like Arsenal. Obviously, we've played them in a cup before and we did get rolled over, but it's the aspect of obviously bringing money into the club, which obviously would help, especially in the January transfer window. So that bit stings, but I'm not really that fussed about the FA Cup this year or any cup competition for that matter.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about we'll talk about some transfers in a second, though, Etienne. But you mentioned about the fixtures. Yeah, they haven't fallen kindly. Let's have a look at them. So Derby, obviously this weekend, which we'll get onto in a minute. Then Hull at home. Then trips to Borough and Ipswich to see out the month. Etienne, out of 12, then how many points do we have to be setting ourselves if we are doing monthly targets, which I think managers and clubs do, for us to stay in this race?
I think we have to be looking at 7 points, and as a fan looking at them 4 fixtures and going 7 points from them, it's a weird position because I definitely think we can beat Derby and Hull on home turf. I haven't got any not concerns about them. I think their fixtures we should be winning, but when it comes to Middlesbrough and Ipswich, both of them teams are at the top of their game at the minute, especially Middlesbrough. Even though they had a slight drop off in form, they proceeded to batter Southampton on home turf, and Ipswich just seem to have a really good home record at the minute. So I think if you told me we'd take a draw from one of them 2 fixtures, I'd be over the moon, because realistically, whilst we do want to be in this playoff race, we do want to be pushing. Middlesbrough and Ipswich should be beating us, and I think to go out there and get a result against one of them and get 2 wins against Derby and Hull, I'd be really happy with that.
Yeah. Joey, is it a case of that you could lose to Derby, but it's beating Hull's more important?
I think we, like probably Etienne said, I think our home games are going to be vital in terms of just keeping that form up. So I'd be looking to get 2 wins from both. You never know. Derby could be back in the race. It's so fickle, the Championship at the moment, and Derby have been in and around it, and then they've dropped off a bit recently. But we've used this last season that he went on a bit of a good run towards the end of the season. So I wouldn't even be surprised, someone like them. So I don't think we should just be looking at teams in and around us that we should be picking points up. I think we should be looking to win all our home games. I think it's going to be difficult, though, with the current state of the pitch, which I'm sure, I don't know if you was going to bring it up, but it's
we are
at the moment is I think going to be a detriment to our home form. And actually, if you look in our recent form, it's actually been our away form that's been helping us keep our position actually over our home form. And I think that's because of the way we set up the players we've got who can run in behind the channels. And actually, I think it's actually putting a bit of a detriment to our performances. When I think we've only won 1 in like 7 or something at home. It's not very good. So yeah, I think both we should be looking to win. But as Etienne said, the away games are a bit more tougher on paper. But you never know. We come out with a positive results against them, then we could be looking at the top 2. So, but the other way around, we could be looking to fall out the playoffs. So yeah, it's going to be a very, very big month, I think, for us.
Absolutely. We're looking to alive one of these on Wembley Way come May 26th weekend, bank holiday weekend. Fingers crossed. We are there. Right, some other news then since we last. So I hope you're all talking to me. Thank you for Harrison Armstrong, of course, being back at Everton. He was amazing actually in the last couple of games we played with him. I do suspect he might be back with you, but Moyes don't think Moyes would have taken him had we not had Dewsbury Hall injured. But yeah, thank you for sending him back. Other players then you said goodbye to. Harvey Thorson's left, of course, to join Hanover. It's a permanent transfer. Not sure on the fee. Anybody got any rumours on that?
It's around 800,000, I believe.
Okay. Yeah, which prompted James to say, "Don't pocket the money, sort the bastard pitch out." Was there a good player in there, Harvey?
Oh yeah, there was definitely a player who can how do I he's hard to explain to us, and he's a player who had like in like a very small pocket of space. I think he did well to get out of like tight situations. I think he was a very composed player. He can obviously he's got really good finishes in him, but I just think that with the standard of midfield at the moment, obviously you've got the likes of like Whiteman, McCann, Dobbin, Devine. I don't think he just was going to get anywhere near, which is a shame for him. But obviously we've got some money from it, and hopefully he can go to Hanover and play really well there. And I wish him all the best.
Yeah, I think we all certainly do. There was rumours of a swap deal. I don't know if I can't remember the name of the player that was coming the other way, but that never obviously materialised. Other transfer rumours then that we're hearing. Etienne, this the Irish winger, Cathal O'Sullivan. We understand the deal's close. I've read one report that's compared him to Lamine Lamal. Is he? What do you know about him?
I don't know much. I can't say I'm a avid enjoyer of Irish football, really. But from it's a signing that we kind of would have cried out for this club to make a year or two ago. It's a 19-year-old who it's really low risk, high reward. He's obviously impressed at Cork. He's done his ACL, I think, twice, which isn't great, but he's still so young, and the club are clearly keen to get him over the line. So I've got no concerns against it, as long as he does eventually come good at some point.
Yeah, okay. Other rumours, any of you heard any stuff? We've got Finley Munro's and Nepan at Middlesbrough linked as well. Any other strange ones we've heard, Joey, from your end?
I've heard about Keeler Dunn. He's obviously playing right now as we speak for Barnsley. He's one that obviously Hecky knows quite well, being his links to Barnsley. I think there's a few other players.
I've heard.
It's so hard with North End at the minute because they try and keep things really under wraps, and you go through about a million different rumours, and then they suddenly sign someone that's not been linked at all. I mean, that's been the case like in the last window. So I mean, Keeler Dunn for me would be a good signing because he can play. I think he can play up top, but he can also play in that pocket. So I mean, why not? He's got a good record this year, but the only thing I would question is his age. But if we're signing players just to get us up this year, then he's on form. Why not? I think that would be a good signing.
Okay. Osmajic to Celtic. Harvey is another one. I don't know if he's got real legs, but that's something you would absolutely not be wanting to see at this stage of the season.
No, definitely not. I think obviously with the situation, striker front, obviously it's looking a little bit threadbare. Obviously Jebison's very hit and miss. Michael Smith's nowhere near good enough. Obviously Will Keane can't really get any minutes, so we are currently just relying on Osmajic to be almost consistent striker, so to speak. Obviously, he's the one that you probably rely on the most in the team to get you the goals. So I think as well, obviously based on, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but the celebration at Sheffield Wednesday, it seems like he does want to stay. Obviously the interview where he calls Deepdale at his home and his family. So I don't want to see him go, and it doesn't seem like he wants to go either.
Yeah. I know we joked about the pitch, Etienne, but we need to just talk about it. The groundsman's not at fault here. We mustn't have any kind of idiots on social media saying it's why are we in this situation from your point of view?
I don't think I'm the best person to ask about this because I only noticed the pitch on Friday and was like, it just looked like it deteriorated to me, and I did say to my family when I was sat with them, like, I think this is gonna make us struggle in the next few games, but I wouldn't say I'm the best person to ask because I can't provide anything on that.
Okay,
it's definitely been more than just the last games. You need your spec servers, I mean, I think it happened last couple of seasons, and what we were told, Ridsdale said that this was something we were going to invest in one of the summers. Obviously, it hadn't happened. So yeah, I mean, Hecky compared it to a cow field, and I don't think he's too far wrong. I mean, it's just you see it like how cut up it is, and it looks like. I mean, I think I tweeted about this a few weeks ago saying it looked non-league standard. I think that's actually quite offensive to. When I looked at Macclesfield's pitch the other day, I think it's actually offensive to non-league. I think it's Sunday League, which is just so embarrassing at this level. And it's not just that it's going to affect us in terms of how we play, and we have to put up with this every week. Whereas a team coming one off, then they might adapt to it. It's also that it could cause an injury, it's like serious injury to a key player in the running, and I just don't think that's acceptable. But I don't think, from what I've heard, that we can do anything about it now. It's too, it's going to have to do something you have to relay in the summer. So yeah, it's just going to be one of those where we're just going to have to get through this period of sort of bad weather and hope that the good weather comes soon and we can sort of, it sort of grows back properly. But yeah, it's disappointing because. You hear, especially when you hear Hecky say, "Oh, is it, players of the pitch?" And I think fans joked about that, but that's actually the sort of things we have to sacrifice as a Preston fan, which I don't think any other team in the division has to suffer. Is like something that should be completed from a different pot. Something that's got nothing to do with financial fair play, PF, whatever it's called. That should not be taken into consideration for this. So. Yeah, it's disappointing. I think how well we're doing, and this could be something that actually sets us back.
Yeah, Harvey, do you agree?
Yeah, I think Joey's hit the nail on the head. Obviously, the main concern is obviously like player welfare, and like Joey said, he's obviously fans have had concerns about it for quite a while. I do think that, like you said, the money should be in a completely different place. Obviously, it's got nothing to do with like wages or budgets or anything like that. And I think you could argue it's probably just like another false promise from Ridsdale. Obviously, it's saying something's going to happen and it never does. But I think again, it's more of like the bigger picture. Like you look at it in the sense that this is probably North End's best chance at getting into the Premier League ever, and at the minute you've not even got like a pitch to show for it. So it is a bit daunting, but the sooner it gets fixed, the better.
Yeah. One final thing, Etienne, I read over the over Christmas from a couple of fans on Twitter for about North End was that they were basically saying, look, the owners have really got to make some sort of brave decisions here in the next 3 weeks because, as Harvey's just said and we've said on here before, this is North End's best opportunity to get out of a really poor league. If you look at the three other teams that are in the playoffs with you, I do think you're better than Millwall. I do think you're better than Bristol City and Hull. Maybe not quite as good as Ipswich on paper, but you've already beaten them. If the board don't invest or don't put money, which fans are crying out for, and you don't go up and we just plateau again, do you think the fans could easily turn?
Yeah, I do. The realist inside of me says we knew this was going to be the situation all season, but now that we find ourselves in fourth and we find ourselves in one of the best positions that we have been to go up, you can't help but go, surely the board and the people in charge of the money are looking at this and going, either we can not put anything in and risk losing out on a potential millions down the line, or we can just go for it. And if we can't do it, fine, let's just take the loss on our backs. But sadly, that isn't the way football ownership works, and I've just got this horrible feeling that we are going to go through the rest of this window doing nothing and come out of it losing more games, being less consistent and falling out of the playoffs, which as fans we've been subjected to for quite a number of years now. So I agree with the vast majority of fans that say, look, the board need to put money in, but ultimately that's their decision and they need to assess what's best for them. But I just hope that they are looking at this and going, yeah, you know what, let's throw some money at it this January.
Yeah. And your biggest asset, Joey, is probably the manager, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's one thing we've got to consider when we're showing this ambition or lack of ambition, is that he could just walk at probably any time. He knows that enough. It will come from any championship team. There's so many clubs who will probably getting rid of their managers between now and the end of the season. I think one thing though, more than actually probably strengthening our side now, which I mean, yes, that's important. I think it's important, but I think if we get Armstrong back and potentially even get a lone striker, I think it probably do. It's probably the fans might not be happy, but I think that could get us over the line. But if it doesn't, then I think the key things we really need to be looking at is actually looking long term. So getting Devine, he's been, we had him on a fee to agree when he's loan. So why are we not sort of triggering that? That's what we need to be doing. We need to be, because I'm more worried about next season, because if we don't miss out on the playoffs, or even if we get the playoffs and we don't win the playoffs, then we're suddenly back in square one when all those loan players go back. And I think that's the biggest worry. And I think what Heckingbottom will want to see is that just long-term vision, and even if it's also just making sure that that pitch is sorted in the summer as well. I think all them sort of things, those little things that help us as a club, more than just the ambition in January, because I think the January is important, yes, but I think, maybe we're only a couple of players out to mount a challenge. I don't think we're too far off. I think it's just showing that long-term ambition for when next season, when whatever league we're in, that we're actually, set up for it, because we could easily be back into a relegation battle in the Championship if we don't do it right.
Fascinating 4 months ahead, 20 games, that's going to fly by, isn't it? Looking forward to it. Right, great to have you back and great to have your company back with us. As well, if you haven't yet subbed, please do so and drop us a like as well. And of course, let us know your thoughts on that last bit of conversation there. Should the board dig deep from somewhere and just, go hell for leather, put it all into the season, or do we need to be a little bit more conservative? We don't want to turn into Yeah, Blackburn Rovers, for example. Dare I say those words on this podcast? Right, we're up to letter L in our A to Z. If you're new to the channel, what we do here is we look at all the past and present players of Preston North End, and we look at what best represents this letter in the alphabet, which we're up to L. So, anybody got anything for this? Go on, Etienne, you go first. I know.
Yeah, I was just waiting for someone else to talk then. I think one that we could all probably agree on is Andy Lonergan. Like he's past my time, but the stories I heard from fans, and I think that like the most notable thing I know about him is that my dad keeps saying he lived on my street when I was little, and I don't remember any of it. But for some reason, as a youngster, I was like, okay, right, he's going to be my favourite player from the past then. But I think just because of the impact he's had, you know, on English football and the fact that he went for so long, and at Preston he was a brilliant goalkeeper as well. I'll just put Lonergan forward.
Yeah, shout. Harvey?
I went for a bit of a different route. I went for Lily Whites, because obviously it's just like what you just labelled the club as, like a nickname, so to speak. So I'll go with that.
Yeah. Joey?
Yeah, and famously Tottenham stole that name from us. But yeah, I'm going to go for, again, it's before my time, but got Mark Lawrenson, because he's a bit of an ambassador for the club, I guess, because he's got that media profile, but also because he was very good for Liverpool, weren't he? From what I heard. So yeah, yeah, he started at Preston, and I think he made about 100 appearances for us. So I think they said at the time he was one of the best defenders we've had. So again, I'm a bit like Etienne with Lonergan. I don't really know much too about him, but I think probably the older generation they're probably shouting at the screen saying Lawrenson, so I thought I'd say it.
Okay. Is that who you model your look on, Joey?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Okay. Brilliant. Right. Who have we missed in the comments? Let us know. Again, you're always very good at this, letting us know. There's idiots in there they've never seen X, XYZ. Let us know. Brilliant. Right. Enjoy the game against Derby. We'll be back on here next week, of course, to preview the trip to Middlesbrough, and join us for that. Great to have you back, fellas. Bumpy ride, ups and downs, but going to be along with you every step of the way. Thanks for watching.